Hello, everybody, and welcome to Electric City Sentai Denzicaster. It's your host, Mike, here joined by Will from Chopsaki Cinema, as we are taking a look at more of Liveman here on Denzicaster. We've watched episodes 5 and 6 today. I'd love to say these were something other than filler, but they're not. For the record, Liveman, as I check my notes over here beside me, Liveman is 49 episodes. That was something we were trying to figure out.
49?
Yeah, it's a 49 episode series. The two episodes we watched today are The Reckless Driving Engine Monster and Ataka, the Living Dinosaur. So, real quick gist of the two episodes. The Reckless Driving Engine Monster basically has Dr. Kemp design an engine monster who can take over different vehicles. Felt a lot like a bad ripoff of a Stephen King novel, to be perfectly honest with you. Because isn't there a Stephen King novel where it's like a car that runs around and kills people? I know there was Maximum Overdrive. There was a
Maximum Overdrive was one of them, and Christine is the other.
Okay.
Maximum Overdrive is probably the one that a lot more people know.
Yeah. But
that involves this whole plot with the alien signal and...
Yeah. So, it's basically that. The purpose it serves here is to add a new piece to the Liveman arsenal, which is their car, which the name of the car I don't immediately remember off the top of my head, but Wikipedia to the rescue. Live Cougar is the car. And then the second episode, The Living Dinosaur, has Dr. Obler, who is now pretty much in his monster form all the time, create a time chaos monster who can basically time slip, move back and forth through time, and manipulate time. And he goes back in time and he finds a dinosaur and he brings it to 1988, the present day of the series, or ish. The show was made in 88. But brings it to the show's present day. It's not quite cutesy, but it's a childlike dinosaur named Gon, imagine that. And befriended by a small child for whom it is his pet/mount. And this one apparently is a two-parter because we end on a cliffhanger, which is we beat the time slip monster, which means there's no way to get the dinosaur back to his proper place in time. But Dr. Obler and what is it? Phantom? No, not Giga Phantom. Gosh. Or Gush, I think is how they say it in the show. But
Goosh?
Yeah, Gush.
Gosh, something. No.
Make My Monster Grow guy.
Him.
They wind up
the guy who
tracking down the robot.
The guy who, if they would just be like, hey, dinosaur. Maybe we should get rid of this guy. Our lives would be a lot easier. That guy.
Yes, that guy. But they wind up trying to track down the dinosaur as our episode ends. So, general impressions off of this couple episodes.
I like them.
Okay.
Kind of interested on how the two-parter ends.
Sure.
The punks in the street punks in the first episode, in the episode 5.
Yep.
They made the mistake of car rolls up all by its own. It's like, look in the driver's seat, there's no one there. Yeah, we should definitely take this for a test drive.
It's as if they never saw an episode of Knight Rider.
Yeah, seriously. Just saying.
So yeah.
And then they're surprised when the car starts talking to them and trying to kill them.
Basically, the engine monster has taken over a pickup truck. Pickup truck winds up rolling up on a bunch of street thugs who then decide to confiscate. That's the way it was translated anyway in the fan sub we were watching. Confiscate the car, i.e. steal it. And
turned out, because it was
a terrible idea is what it turned out being.
Very terrible idea. It was Takeuchi and Yusuke?
Yeah. Yusuke is Red Falcon. He's our Red Ranger.
So it's Yusuke, and Takeuchi is the brother of Togashi. Togashi, who was one of the two originals in the first episode that got killed.
Right.
It was his little brother. That was a truck that apparently him and his brother were working on at the time, and he was like, they went through this whole story about he was the only person he could trust, so he started working on it. Which I kind of like it because you get a little bit of backstory on Yusuke in that one, like who's like one of his friends and why the two of them were such good friends and stuff like that.
And it gives you sort of a connection when they're able to construct the live Cougar. It's them taking a design from the older brother and revamping it for the purposes of fighting Volt.
Yep.
So, pretty cool idea there. These two episodes, to me, were kind of lukewarm, to be perfectly honest. As I went over the episodes, it dawns on me they're not filler episodes, but they felt like filler episodes. And I guess where I come off with that is that, in the older Super Sentai shows, this happened more often than it does now. They're introducing new elements to the show. So in this case, Live Cougar is the new piece to the arsenal, and then we have this two-parter, which I'm sure will feel less like filler after we watch episode 7. But
just can't really make that decision.
Exactly.
You can say it about the other episode, but that's the whole thing about two-parters. It seems like filler, but then you realize, oh wait, there's more to this, so there might be some more substance to it.
Right.
In all actuality, probably. It may or may not have more substance to it. So.
Well, I can tell you, going through the Wikipedia thing, Gon's on the cast list, so I don't know what the hell that means. But anyway, but
maybe part of the story, maybe part of one of the story arcs will be actually finding him away home.
Yeah, maybe. So the whole thing with introducing a piece of the arsenal and introducing new gear or whatnot, and it not necessarily feeling rather connected to everything else in a very strong way. They have a connection here back to one of their friends from the first episode through a brother and whatnot. There's a part of me that would have liked maybe like some flashback kind of stuff where we see them working on it together and
would have been a little better.
A more tangible connection to that character, because we're not so far removed from episodes 1 and 2 that we wouldn't recognize the guy.
Yeah. Plus, like the other two episodes actually that dealt with backstory on Joe and oh my god, I'm horrible with names. Oh, I actually knew the name. I just didn't apparently want to say it. With Joe and Megumi, they actually showed like maybe like 2-3 minute flashbacks that gave a little bit more of how they knew that person. I guess when they introduced the little brother and he put the connection together, I guess they felt they didn't really need to.
Or maybe they're just reserving the flashbacks for the connection between the heroes and the villains, because that's where we're getting the flashbacks at.
That's true.
So, with the stories of the two, it's pretty much Super Sentai 101, for want of a better term, but it is well done. I continue to enjoy the action in the show. I don't mind the formulaic elements of Super Sentai because I've been watching it for years. The Biomotion Buster might be the greatest thing William has ever seen. Why don't you tell
something like that? Oh no, I understand there's a purpose to it, but and I understand the formula. I really do understand the formula.
You want them to eventually just one day, about episode 12 or 13, maybe just turn around and go, if we just shot him next, and point the gun at Gush.
Either that or have it to where something happens and Gush can't get there to make him grow, and to have that be some part of a story arc.
Well, like I've been watching. For Denzi Blitz, I've been watching Deca Ranger, and there have been plenty of episodes of Deca Ranger now where the monster didn't grow big, and it was part of the story that for whatever reason it didn't suit the story to make the monster grow big and fight him in the giant robot. But let me ask this, because you've watched Super Sentai and such with me before in group settings and whatnot. This is the first time I've ever actually seen you give this element give it shit while watching it, because how is this more ridiculous than make my monster grow and throw a magic wand?
Or it's not as ridiculous as that.
How is
It's
this?
just that whole fact of just like, hey, he's down, he's beaten. You think this giant cannon would do something more than basically disable it for a little bit. Until like homeboy walks up and is just like, oh well, I'll fix this. And he just grows, and it's just like, okay,
We got toys to sell, folks.
yeah, I understand that.
Even in '88, we got toys to sell.
Yes.
Another element I really dig about this I love the music of this show. It's very 80s.
It's insanely 80s.
But it feels right for this show.
As far as the setting, yeah.
Yeah. I like the opening theme a lot. It is actually one of my favorite Sentai openings.
I do like the opening cinematic, especially the part with I know it seems cheesy when you see it, like the first time, but it kind of grew on me when they are like all, like, quote unquote, jumping into action, and they have like the different colored plumes of smoke, smoky explosions. I thought that was cool. That, and I like explosions, so there's that.
Well, yeah. I even like the closing theme, and I generally hate Super Sentai closing themes. The music during the episodes I tend to like.
I'm thinking about, yeah, I have watched the closing theme of this. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't too terrible.
I mean, it's very 80s.
It is very 80s. I think I just didn't pay. I think I paid attention more to the actual music in it than the actual.
Than the visuals?
Yeah, than the closing cinematic itself.
So, and the thing about the closing cinematics of Super Sentai now, it's usually literally a song and dance number.
Yep.
And so at this point in time, it wasn't quite there yet. So it's not a song and dance. It's actually seeing our heroes either in action or candid things or whatnot.
Them just like going throughout.
Yeah.
Doing random stuff.
So,
Which I do admit I kind of like that.
Right. Something you really dug out of these couple episodes.
the very ambitious plot in the two-parter of going back in time and bringing back dinosaurs. I was just like, yeah, that's quite ambitious. I think I'm hooked right now. I think I'm hooked on this little story.
It's one of those things where I sat there and looked at that plot. I remember watching it the first time and going, this is a little much even for Super Sentai standards. Because you'll come up with there are some truly ridiculous plots in these shows, folks. I mean, there really are. But considering that you have a monster that can point a gun at other monsters.
What was one of the ones I remember was like a lunchbox. There was a killer lunchbox in one of something that I watched.
If you think that's bad, if you think
I thought that was hilarious.
If you want something, there's a killer cup of noodles in one show.
Don't say that.
Yes, Noodle Dimension. That's from Jetman. Killer ramen.
I think I have seen that actually.
So, my wife is our studio audience this week, and she is just shaking her head.
You guys are weird as hell.
You will never.
And
you watch that episode of Jetman, and you will never look at a cup of noodles again the same way.
You may still eat it,
but you just won't look at it the same way. But there are some truly strange plots. But what I want to say is, when you have a monster who can point a gun at other monsters and make them the size of dinosaurs, what the hell is the point of going back and getting dinosaurs?
like I said, that's very ambitious. I think they were wanting somebody else to do the dirty work for them. Just like, hey, we're tired of losing our own guys. I got it. We can bring back dinosaurs and have this whole thing happen. And they picked like the smallest dinosaur possible.
Yes.
Because you see like, I believe it's a brachiosaur and a pterodactyl.
Yeah, those are the two main ones.
And I was just like, oh my goodness, that would be so awesome. Although one of them was really violent by nature. But hey, you work with that. And they bring back like a little baby dinosaur. And it's like,
and most of these things shoot for, most of the time when you bring back like the baby something in one of these shows, you shoot for cutesy. They did not shoot for cutesy.
There's nothing cute about it. I'm sorry.
That suit is actually not child friendly.
No, it was rather disturbing actually.
It was left over. They're worse than BBC.
So, I don't think we've actually seen the neon ball show up in this series yet. There's a neon ball that has been apparently in like 7 or 8 different Super Sentai shows. And it's the same damn prop, but it's been in all these different shows. Because they just randomly recycle it as a background piece. So
I may have to get you to point that out.
when I see it,
just to make sure I've seen it.
I'll find it.
Seen it.
I'll find it. Oh, there are web pages dedicated to it. So something you didn't care for out of these 2 episodes.
The actual design of, I didn't mind the design of like the engine monster because he kind of looked like a V8, looked like a pissed off V8.
Okay.
Awesome. But I kind of didn't like the design of the
time monster.
Yeah, the time traveling monster because I don't know, it just didn't seem to really fit.
Well, he had a giant clock for a face.
He didn't even have a clock. It was just two hands that he constantly played with.
Yeah, it is a little awkward. I can't.
Weird.
Was that
The brain clock was weird?
Yeah, the brain clock was extremely weird. If there's anything I point at these 2 episodes and I don't necessarily love, it's probably going to be just the fact that these episodes feel like they're missing something. Especially episode 5 feels to a point incomplete to me. But episode 6, I will give a pass to at the moment because we haven't actually sat down to watch episode 7 yet. What are we looking forward to?
Finding out if they're concerned.
Obviously, the rest of the dinosaur thing.
Yeah, the rest of that. To see if there's actually like a moral choice in Gun going home versus we haven't been able to find a way for Gun to go home yet.
Right.
So I'm kind of curious about that, whether or not, because you say he's part of the cast, and I'm like, okay, that's cool.
He's in the list.
So I was like, yeah, that's kind of cool, but in all honesty, it's the whole thing of like, so do they not find a way from you back? Does Gun make that choice of not leaving just yet? Things like that. I don't know. I think that's pretty much it for right now. Although the live Cougar. That's the name of the car.
That's the car, live Cougar.
And seeing what else they do with that, or if they have any more, or if the little kid has any more, like shows up again and has any more designs to share. Little designs, because that kind of, speaking as like former engineering student, that kind of thing kind of amazes me a bit.
I don't remember if he shows up again or not. I've watched Live Man all the way through, but it's been a really long time, so I don't remember if the little kid shows back up again or not. Of course, I also don't remember Gon necessarily being in a ton of episodes either, but like I said, I'm on Wikipedia and I was just cycling through the list, and sure as hell his name was there. So yeah, I'm looking forward to. I'll be honest, my Obler is not my favorite of the 3 doctors. I like Mazinda a good bit, and then Dr. Kemp is my favorite, but that's because I really dig the actor, and the actor has been in, and I feel horrible. I'll find his name right now, so I don't feel horrible. But he's in a bunch of different Super Sentai shows.
I'm having trouble remembering names, so. Well, I know who they are. I'm not a huge fan of Opa.
Yeah.
Mazinda, I like, but some of her aesthetics could have been changed a bit. Once you get the giant plume, the metal fan plume thingy on her back, man, that's kind of.
I think that's sort of I think that probably was just the costume wasn't complete when we first see her.
Okay.
So Dr. Kemp is Hirose Yutaka, and Hirose Yutaka has been in a crap ton of Super Sentai, generally as a bad guy. But he's had numerous appearances, and I've never seen him play a bad character. This was the first show I ever saw him in where he was a major starring villain. So,
who is the big baddie?
The big bad, Dr. Bias? Or
Bias.
Professor Bias?
Professor Bias.
Yep.
Okay. Who is he?
Played by Nakata Jovi, who... Does he look familiar to you?
Yeah, he looks familiar to me.
Well, let's see what he's done real quick. This is thrilling right here, folks. Wikipedia to the rescue. He was Bison in the Street Fighter II animated movie. He's actually a more famous voice actor than he is anything else by the looks of it. He's done Legend of Galactic Heroes, Record of Lotus War, V Gundam, Street Fighter II the animated movie, Blue Seed, Artemis 3rd, Case Closed, Escaflowne, Slayers, Rurouni Kenshin,
Who's
Macross...
Kenshin?
Lentz.
Never mind.
Macross Dynamite 7, BGC Tokyo 2040, Cowboy Bebop, Serial Experiments Lane.
In Lane.
In Lane, he is the Man in Black.
Ha! Okay, that's where I know that name from.
He's
He's in a Damn, son.
metric. He is in a metric ton of things. Let's see here. Most recently,
Kazuya Mishima. That may also be where I know him from.
Well, let's see. Most recently, he has been in Maho Girls Precure and one of the Fate movies. Yep, he's in the Tekken games.
They brought him back for tag.
It may just not be on the list yet.
Well, no, he's played Kazuya since they gave Kazuya a voice. So.
Yep, so he's there. He's been in the Samurai Warriors game series. He's
dubbing roles, Men in Black 3.
Yep, he's Animal Boris in Men in Black 3, the voice. And he's actually done a bunch of Super Sentai. He was in Flashman and Masked Man and then Live Man. And for the record, that's 3 back-to-back-to-back shows. He's the narrator. Yep, he's the narrator and the voice of the Birth Driver in Kamen Rider O's. He's a scientist in Gokaiger. He's in Gaim. He was in Zyuohger, which I have not watched all the way through. But apparently he was in that entire series. Yeah, he's done a lot.
Just a bit.
So.
Mainly voice acting roles.
Yes.
I probably saw his name credits a couple times.
But I mean, the thing is, this show does have some legit big names in it. And that's one thing about 80s Super Sentai is some of these guys went on to have huge, huge careers. Like Yutaka Hirose, as an example, was in... he was in Bioman in 84, Changeman in 85. Neither of those shows was he a regular. He was in Flashman in 86. He was in Live Man in 88. He was in Jetman in 91. And he was in Die Ranger in 94. All of those are Super Sentai shows, and almost all of those he was a recurring villain. Except for Die Ranger, where he was actually, because that show was very based in martial arts, he was actually the arch rival, like the martial arts arch rival to the Red Ranger in that show. Oh, cool. Which is probably my favorite role he's ever done. So, but yeah, I mean, these guys have done you've got a lot of guys in here who have done a lot of work, so it's really, really cool. So I'm looking forward to seeing more from Kemp and Mazenda personally, and a little more of the structure of Volt, because we've seen some of the machinations of the lieutenants, so to speak, but we haven't seen anything really big out of Bias other than they all kind of bow to him. Yeah. So that's all we've really seen is they.
I'm waiting for some development with Bias, because I understand he's supposed to be the shadowy figure behind the shadowy figures, but he's kind of intimidating, and it's just like, okay, but you know.
It was an old trope from Kamen Rider, is probably the oldest example of it I can find in Tokusatsu in 71, where you would have the great leader. And it's kind of what Bias is here, except we actually get to see a form. In the old Kamen Rider shows, the great leader was literally a light on a wall for most of the series. A light on a wall and a voice, and that's all you got. There was no physical form for him. But you knew the great leader had to be a massive threat, because every one of his generals, at some point, he would say, either you deal with Kamen Rider or you deal with me. And they would fight Kamen Rider thinking they had a chance, albeit maybe slim, rather than fight the great leader and die. And so it gave a lot of gravity to the great leader without ever actually seeing him do anything. Yeah. So
big intimidation factor there.
Yeah, so you kind of get a little bit of that out of Bias up to this point. Granted, we're very early on, episode 6. Yeah. Because they all kowtow to him, but he's done nothing. Yeah.
I'm waiting to. I'm looking forward to see when he does something. Not even like a big something, just like a whole. I could take you on myself, but why would I want to waste my time? That kind of deal.
Yeah, maybe just say more than 5 lines.
Yes.
So, folks, we got more of Liveman coming your way, so definitely stick around for that. And coming up on July the 29th is our first 24-hour live stream here on the ECS network. It's the Crayon Box live stream to raise money for my wife and I's adoption. We hope that you will come join us. Will and Josh from Chopsaki Cinema will both be here. Chris from 8 Star Anime will be here. JJ from On the Road will be here for a little bit anyway. I think he's got I think he has a show in Cornelia, Georgia the same night, so he won't be here overly long, I'm afraid. Kana, my dear wife, I'm sure will be on camera at some point during that, where we are turning the network over to you guys for 24 hours. You can make us watch whatever you want us to watch within reason. Check the actual video so you know what within reason means where we announce this. But you can find a hidden gem or basically torture us. If you want Will to watch Sailor Moon, this is your chance.
No.
You simply have to give money, give money to a good cause. We're trying to grow our family, and we are trying to bring in a child into our home, and your donations will help us get that much closer and help further scar William Harrison mentally when it comes to his exposure to Sailor Moon.
Yeah, I love you guys and all, but no way in hell.
So,
but if it gets us a child, will you not sacrifice just a few 30 minutes of your life?
$5, 30 minutes.
I'll think about it.
Okay. So, we only accept your first answer. He said we'll think about it. So, folks, in all seriousness, though, do please check that out. It's going to be a lot of fun for 24 hours here on YouTube of just watching us make complete and utter fools of ourselves for 24 hours for your donations. If you feel like it, also check out our Patreon pages, patreon.com/ECS Network. There's lots of cool stuff you can do over there, including helping us figure out what we're going to watch next, get early access to videos, all kinds of cool stuff there. And there's our Cafe Press store and all of our social media outlets. That all comes up after I'm done talking. So, folks, until next week, for Will, I'm Mike. We will see you on Denzicaster.